Hello, today I'll be doing a simple physics demo. So I'm going to start with a ball, or dummy element, and now I'm going to start doing some styles. Come on. Ball, and here I'm going to have a diameter, which is going to be calc twice the radius. And now I'm going to set the width and the height to this diameter. Also height, and one more thing, I need to set a default here, 35 pixels. And now let's give it a background just so that we can see stuff. Okay, but we want a ball, so something round. Border radius 50% so that it's always round. We want to position it absolutely. Position absolute at the bottom 0. I want to make this ball a bit more interesting, so I'm going to have a radial gradient white to this, but it's not going to be in the middle, it's going to be circled at 35%, 25%, like this. Should look nice. Let's bring this a bit up to here. This is a bit too extreme, so let's mix it. So mix with okay, and I'm also going to do something like this, and this should be just about right. Okay, I'm not going to want all balls to have the same color, so I'm going to use a filter. So filter, hue, rotate, and it's going to use an angle. Okay. Something else I'm going to do is I'm going to want to position a ball at a certain height. So I'm going to do this with a transform. So transform, translate y, and this is going to be actually I'm going to use a calc -1 times the height. Okay, so this is it for the styling. Now I want to add balls on click. So the way I'm going to do this is add event listener, click, and I'm going to create a new element. So new ball, actually just leave it new, and it's going to be document what the heck am I doing? Create element, div, and then I'm going to add this to the body, document, body, append child, new. Okay, something else I'm going to do here is new class list, add ball. Okay, now if I remove this from here and now I click, I have a ball showing up there, but I don't want it to show up just in that corner. I don't want it to always be this size. I may want it to be a different color. So what I'm going to do is auto-generate a radius, a height, rotation angle for the hue, and stuff like that. So first of all, a radius. This radius is going to be something random, and I'm going to create a helper function. Function rand between maximum and minimum, and I'm going to have an isInt flag. Okay, and here I'm going to have a generated value, and this one is going to be the minimum plus the range max minus min times. So this is the generated value, and for the return value, I'm going to have to use this flag. So if is int, then I'm going to return otherwise I'm just going to return it as it is. So I'm going to have some defaults here. What's wrong? Oh, that. Okay, so this is going to be 1 by default, this is going to be 0 by default, and the maximum is going to be 1 by default. Okay, so here I'm going to have random 65, 35 the minimum. Then for the height, I'm going to do something else. Let's collapse this, and before it I'm going to have a root. So this is the root element, document element. All right, and now I'm going to use this minus, and here I'm going to have the position of the click, and I need to also add the radius. All right, so now that I've done this, here I can also set, here I'm going to have an object, and in here I'm going to have the custom properties. So my custom properties, I think I forgot to set something here. So my left is going to be calc x minus r. Okay, so here I'm going to have an x, and this one is going to be, I need to have it like this, and here I'm going to interpolate the x position of the click. All right, now next for the radius, I'm going to have something similar. I need to interpolate the radius. It's going to be in pixels. It's going to be very similar for the height. So yeah, this is it. And then I'm going to have the angle. And this is going to be random 360, and I also need to interpolate this and make it in degrees. So now when I'm going to have a loop, so for and I'm going to have new style set property, I'm going to have p. Okay, so this should do it. So when I click a ball, it's basically going to do it. So for some reason the transform client, that's why it didn't work. Okay, now it should work. Okay, they're positioned. Now I want to delete them when I double click something, when I double click one of them. So in order to do this, I'm going to copy this whole listener, pretty much double it up, and I'm going to have so if So this should work. The thing is, when I trigger double click, I also trigger click. So I need to wrap everything here into an if. So everything here, I need to put it in an if. Okay, now I can collapse this. And the next thing that I'm going to do is create a move function. So this is going to be function move. And here I'm going to create some more stuff. And that's going to be a current time, which is initially 0, a request ID, which is initially null, and here I keep incrementing the current time, and I have that the request ID is request animation frame move. Also here I'm going to have keep count of the number of moving balls, because once the balls have fallen down and they don't bounce back up anymore, they're not moving, so they're not going to enter this count. So I'm going to have moving, this is 0, so I'm going to need to loop through the balls, and in order to do that I'm going to need a balls array, and I'm going to have the number of items in this array, and now when I create a new ball, I also add it to this array. So the way that I do this is balls push, and it's a new object, and this object has element, and this is the new ball. Then I'm going to have the initial position along the y-axis, and this is the height. Then I'm going to have the initial velocity, and this ball is dropped, so it has no initial velocity. Its initial velocity is 0. And then the initial time moment, which is the current time. Is there anything else, I wonder? Oh yeah, a flag, a motion flag, so to detect whether it's moving or not. So this is going to be 1, so true by default. Once I've done this, I need to increment n. Okay, and if I have no animation running, I'm going to start an animation. So if similarly, when I remove a ball, I need to remove it from this array as well. So the way that I'm going to do this is change things a bit here. So I'm going to have for I from 0 all the way up to n, and I keep incrementing it. And if I have equal to balls I element, now I need to remove, so balls splice I1, and if after removing this element I don't have any more elements, then I'm going to need to stop this animation. And in order to do this, I'm going to use another helper function, which is stop animation. So function and this is only going to work if I have a request ID. And I'm going to have a cancel animation frame. And I make this request ID null again. Alright, so now I can use the stop animation function. This looks just about right. Okay, now here within this loop, within this animation loop, here I'm going to have an actual loop. So for I from 0 all the way up to n, I should have copied it from there. Okay, and here I'm going to have if the ith ball is moving, so if the move flag is true, 1, whatever, a truthy value, then I'm going to need to increment this moving. And after this loop, I'm going to check if I have a number of balls moving, or if they're all 0, or if the number of balls that are moving is 0. And if this number is 0, I'm going to have stop animation. And I'm also going to return, so I don't hit that request animation frame again. Okay, now that I've done this as well, collapse that. One more thing I'm going to need to set here is the gravitational acceleration. So let's set it something like this for now. Okay, and here in this if, right here, I'm going to have a few things. First of all, I'm going to have the time difference between the current time and the initial time. So the current time minus balls. This is the time at which the current ball started falling, its current piece of motion, t0. Then I'm going to have the current position, and the current position is, according to the laws of mechanics, it's going to be the initial position. Actually, this is set as a property, and then I'm going to have v0, the initial velocity, times this duration, minus half times g times dt times dt. Okay, and something else that I'm going to do here is on the element star set property, and I'm going to have, oh, not there, here on this, and it's going to be, I need to interpolate y pixels, interpolate, and actually round it. Okay, so this is not working, so I've made a mistake somewhere, obviously. Let's see. Console. Okay. Let's see. So if I click, have I called move? Okay, let's see here. So on click, move. Okay. Oh, if it doesn't contain ball, that's why it wasn't working. Okay. Now it should be working. That's why I shouldn't just copy paste it stupidly like that. Okay, let's remove this thing. And as you can see, my ball went down into the basement and stuff. So I should make it bounce once it gets down. So if y smaller or equal 0, so if it got down to the ground, or slightly below it because of dumb computations, then I'm going to have pretty much this bit from here equal to 0. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is have the velocity, this thing right here, I'm going to compute it and be the initial velocity minus g times the duration, and I need to reverse its sign. So, and I want to damp these bounces, so I'm going to have 0.8. It's going to lose some energy on hitting the ground. That's why. Then I'm going to have to set the initial time again, and it's going to be equal to the current time. And now that I've done this, let's see what happens when I drop a ball. As you can see, it bounces and it's damped. And now it's vibrating there like crazy, so let's take care of that situation. So if this velocity is below a certain threshold, actually I can just do something like this. Balls I move, and it's equal to whether this velocity is above a certain threshold. So yeah, this should work. Okay, they're doing it nicely. Now the next thing I can do is prettify this thing a bit. So I'm going to have HTML overflow hidden to avoid scroll bars like we had before when the ball went through the bottom. Now I'm also going to have height 100, and I'm also going to have a mixin here. So mixin grass. How many types of grass? 4 by default. And here I'm going to include grass. Let's collapse this. Let's collapse this as well. And I'm going to have a base for the URL. And this is going to be, let's take this from here and like this, and I should delete this part. Next thing I'm going to have is background images list. Okay, and I'm going to have 2 more lists like this. So positions and sizes. And then I'm going to have a loop. So for I from 0 to n. And here within this loop, I'm going to have that background images is its previous version plus URL URL. And here I'm going to have a string, and I'm going to need to interpolate the base. Then I need to interpolate the index I. Then I need the extension svg. Next thing I'm going to do is have this again and again, and here I'm going to have positions. So positions, and for the last one I'm going to have sizes. Now I'm going to compute the current size before anything else here. And this is going to be something which uses random. So it's going to be 20 plus random 80 times 1 pixel. So this is going to be my size. and I'm going to add it here. Size. As for the position, I'm going to have a random part of the size, which is going to be minus 0.01 times random 100, and I can only have integers there, that's why I'm using 0.01 times random 100. And this is going to be times the size, and it's going to be down at 100%. And after this loop, I'm going to set background to background images. I'm going to set background position to background positions. Something similar I'm going to have here. I'm going to have size, and I'm also going to have background repeat, which is going to be repeat X. Okay, so if I want to delete these balls, doesn't it work? Double clicking. Okay, new problem now. What happens when I double click? Oh, okay. I think I know what the problem is. This. So now if I'm going to have a ball and it's going to drop, okay, something's wrong. Oh, I'm having a pen child again, so it's remove. Okay, this is what happens when you copy paste. You want to be fast and you copy paste. So yeah, when I double click, yeah, it disappears. Yeah, this is it for today. This is a working physics demo with falling balls, bouncing balls. You can find the CodePen link for the finished result in the description below. And if you have any questions or suggestions, you can drop them in the comments or send them on Twitter. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did and you wish to see more videos from me in the future, please consider supporting me in one of the ways explained in the description below, with a donation, by getting me something off my Amazon wish list, or at least by sharing this video to show the world what can be done on the web today. This is pretty cool because it makes use of CSS custom properties. Anyway, in any event, thank you for watching, and until next time.